Hey, I wanted to make this video because I want to discuss a subject that it's kind of a taboo amongst musicians, either professional or aspiring, and it's something everyone thinks about but nobody really talks about. And that's the process of getting older as a musician. So I'm in my mid 30s now, and this subject has been living in my head for about 10 or 15 years now. And I just realized this is a pile of shit that needs to be dealt with because it really prevents you from being happy and actually enjoying the process of making music. For some reason, musicians live with a sense of urgency that says they have to have a certain amount of success by a certain age. And that certain age is usually pretty young. I'm not sure if this has to do with the extreme cult of youth that our culture lives with, or if this has to do with the entertainment industry manufacturing this cultural reference in pop culture that are always pretty young, or if maybe it comes, especially in music, from the old days of child prodigies like Mozart and Beethoven, and that has created some kind of expectation in musicians that they're supposed to be success at an early age. No matter where this idea comes from, I've noticed a pattern where musicians, as they get older, especially after they hit 30, they start questioning whether all the effort, the dedication, the endless hours practicing to master their skills, and sometimes even the monetary investment they had done in their careers is all worth it. And the question that comes up from that is, should I continue? This is like a musician's midlife crisis, so to speak. And answering this question is not easy because there's generally two layers of complexities that need to be addressed before someone can answer this question for themselves. The first element is identity attachment. A lot of musicians develop their personalities with this idea of being a musician, and it's really hard to think of themselves as not a musician. The other element is the cost of opportunity of becoming a musician. To develop your skills, you probably took many years and you left stuff behind and put things aside in order to develop those skills. You probably didn't take as much math as you might need if you wanted to become an engineer then. You probably didn't take any trade courses to learn, I don't know, welding or how to be a nurse or any other craft. You were so dedicated to music that you left all the other opportunities at the side. So at a certain point, not only are you attached to the identity of being a musician, but you don't have any other skill sets. So as a consequence, the idea of early success combined with the identity of being a musician and the cost of opportunity brings up a crisis where a musician doesn't know what else to do with their life because they don't feel like they're successful enough. So to answer this question, I think there's two areas that need to be dealt with differently. One is the practical and the other one is the personal. The practical is easier. I think you need to answer first the question, can I support myself and can I support the people that depend on me? That is very important because even if you have a huge success as a musician, if you're popular, if people love you, unless you have a certain degree of financial security, there's no level of success that will prevent the stress and the unhappiness that comes from not being able to provide for yourself and your family. But if you can provide for yourself, either through a music job or through another day job or another career, then the question becomes really more personal and you can really focus on the fundamental issue at hand. So the first personal question is the obvious one. Does making music still make you happy? Do you still enjoy the process? Do you love composing, playing your instrument, putting the time to practice? Do you still get a juice of enjoyment out of it? If the answer is no, maybe you've moved on or maybe you weren't that involved in the first place and it's time to move on to something different. The second personal question, and it comes after the fact of evaluating if making music itself still makes you happy, is does not being as successful as you want to be torment you? Is not being as successful as you want to be preventing you from being happy, from enjoying your day-to-day life, from enjoying the company of your friends and family? If this is the case, then maybe this is making you more bad than good. You need to reevaluate your ulterior motivations to be in music. As a side note on the question of success as an artist or a musician, I wanted to say that if you're an artist and not an entertainer, then really success is not your concern. Let me explain what this means. The role of an artist is to change society and change individuals. And this happens whether you change one person or a million. So if you are really an artist in your heart, then success is not really a measure of your real success. If you're interested in the difference between an artist and an entertainer, please check the video in the link above. I go into detail to explain what the difference is. So the third personal question I would ask to evaluate whether to continue in music or not is music still the only thing I want to do? Maybe you have other ideas or other interests that you haven't pursued because of the cost of opportunity of becoming a musician, and this is preventing you from growing as a human being or exploring other areas of your personality. So finally, whether to continue being a musician or answering the question, am I too old to be a musician? I would say that if you still enjoy the process of doing music, if you still get excited about it, and success is more of a nice to have than a need to have in your life, then you'll probably be a musician for many years to come until the day you die. So the great thing about being a musician all your life is that artists usually peak when they're older and mature and not when they're young. So I would advise you to keep doing what you do and keep getting better and delight the world with what you have. On the other hand, if you're using music as a vehicle for success, being loved, being famous, money, or anything else that is not really music in itself, then you'll probably be miserable with it and eventually you'll drop out. So that was the video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped you out figure out a situation, or even having someone that shares your experience is always helpful. And if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel, hit like, and I'll see you in the next video.